state policies that the state shall prohibit political dynasty. The state shall prohibit political dynasty as may be defined by law. Yung maybe is the definition.
Maybe.
So the Congress doesn't have a discretion of whether or not
To prohibit.
It's required to prohibit. The discretion is on how to define it.
They have
So
to
I
define
believe
a
the
political
Supreme Court
dynasty.
can compel Congress to pass an anti-dynasty law without saying how it should be defined, but it can compel Congress to pass one and to define it. And I think the Supreme Court is now tasked with that. Some petitions have been filed asking for a mandamus against Congress. Because it says, shall prohibit it. As
It's
may be
really
defined.
prohibited, pero it's Congress that will define what is a political dynasty. Ayaw nila. But the ARM already defined the political
Yes.
dynasty.
Exactly. So,
Nauna pa yung bar.
nauna pa yung kasama
Nauna
natin.
pa sila.
Yeah.
ARM, oh.
Oo.
Pero yun ang problema because
Yep.
yung mga justices ngayon, sa kanila, bahala na yung Congress.
Kung gagawin nila. Hindi sila magmamoto proprio.
Yun ang problema.
Yeah.
Yun ang problema because hindi nila alam anong mangyari. I can see it happening already kasi mainit na talaga eh.
Mainit talaga. Like,
But
we were
for-
trying to
but
remind
for-
everyone, this is close.
But
Yeah.
for all our criticism sa Supreme Court, hindi naman sila bobo. Why should they leave it to the Congress na punong-puno ng dynasties?
To vote against itself, basically.
To vote against itself. So, may utak naman sila eh. So,
Alam naman nila is asking for the impossible.
Yeah.
Pero I need the ruling na Congress enact it. Dahil pag hindi ininak, we can now say in the election, wag ninyo iboto sila. Ito na yung iboto ninyo. That was the plan. Eh, the Supreme Court will, if the Supreme Court will not issue, we have to go to the People's Initiative. Wala nang iba eh.
Pero yung People's Initiative kasi, Justice, meron din isang role eh. I-harness niya, meron kang political project na i-harness yung outrage ng tao to create
Channel it.
also new leaders para sa 2020.
Yeah, yun nga.
Constructive
May ganun
channeling.
eh.
Yeah, we're there now.
Oo,
correct.
oo.
We're there now.
In 2 years kasi, kampanya na eh.
Pero alam mo, so yung 3% of every district, kakalabanin tayo ng
Bawat
congressional district.
warlord, oo.
Labanan yan.
Yeah.
Trench warfare yan.
Yeah.
We need, we need foot soldiers.
Correct.
Ang gagawin natin, Justice, guerrilla warfare. Mahirap kasi trench warfare.
Ayaw ang yan. Ang akbayan.
Akbayan.
Ang akbayan ang gagalaw dyan.
Malapit.
Kinorek ni Cal eh. Kinorek ni Isko Moreno dahil sabi niya, mga akbayan daw yung pumunta sa Menjola. Oo. Sabi ko kay Mayor Isko, akbayan na sa People Power Monument. Kinorek naman niya the other day. Kinorek niya, na nagkamali siya. No? Pati yung TV5, nagkamali. Ito kasi pag sounds like.
Sounds like, yeah.
Yun ang next move
Kasalanan
natin.
yan eh.
So, I will meet with
Tama
some
yun,
people.
Justin. Paano, mag-succeed man o mag-fail yung People's Initiative, it will harness outrage
Yeah.
towards 2028.
Yeah.
It's the wave, eh. It will do a wave.
Parang
that will
ganyan
lift,
eh,
yeah.
parang constitutional convention. Pag nagtawag ka ng CONCON, no?
New leadership.
Mga new leaders ang susulpot eh. Dahil yung kailangan sa CONCON, sigurado walang pork barrel yan. No? Sigurado maiksi lang ang term yan. Sigurado, debate yan. No? Yung tunay na... Diyan sumulpot dati sila Nenny Pimentel eh. Sila Raul Roco. Mga CONCON delegates
CONCON
yan eh.
yan,
Di ba? Kaya parang ganun yung People's Initiative. It will create new leaders even if it will fail. No? Even if it... Parang CONCON din. Even if it will fail, no? Paano? Nag-martial law na si Marcos eh. Pero it created new leaders.
It's the wave that
no?
lifts all these boats. Yeah.
This is the alternative to the political dynasties. Kasi doon sila they bring up new leaders. Ito dito. But ano na, pag-usapan na natin, ito na, wala na, ayaw na gumalaw.
O, delikado kasi, delikado military junta. You're throwing the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Yan yung problema.
Alam, pag military junta, di...
Tsaka investors will get out. It's gonna be an economic disaster.
Ito nga,
Meltdown.
rumors pa lang eh. Rumors pa lang eh.
May
Nag-collapse na yung stock market.
Yeah.
Almost 59 na yung peso. Di ba? Rumors pa lang yan ha. Paano pag may nangyari pa?
Yes. All the newspapers
Yeah.
here show that the impact on the economy is really adverse.
Very bad.
Yeah. Very bad.
Patay na yung stock market, patay na. So, yun, ang next step natin, people's initiative. To give hope. At saka, to lengthen this struggle.
Just for the person, those who remember the other PI, nagalit na. How is this PI different
This is
from
just
that
a law.
PI?
Ang pinagbawal ng Supreme Court, sabi ng Supreme Court ni Davide, the People's Initiative Law
Cannot amend the Constitution.
is
Cannot
defective.
revise.
Is defective in amending the Constitution.
Amending the Constitution,
But
yeah.
walang sinabi about enacting a
Oo,
statute.
existing
iba
statute.
yun.
Yeah, exactly.
So the limits ay hindi mag-i-infringe dito sa political project na
Yes.
pinopropose.
So ang gagawin niyang mga kalaban natin, accused sa Supreme Court, defective rin yung batas to enact a statute. Maghanap sila ng ibang basis. Iba yung basis sa So lalabanan natin yun. Another struggle yun.
Yeah.
They will of course question that.
Pero lahat ng tao ngayon galit sa dynasties eh. Lahat ng tao ngayon nauunawaan na ito yung isa sa root causes of corruption.
Yung anak ni Zaldi ko, pinapauwi yung tatay niya. Galit na rin sa
dapat ang natin. We keep on pounding.
Right.
The core problem are the political dynasties. Kasi they will pass the budget, isasaksak na nila yung flood control project nila. So we relate it, talagang totoo naman eh. Doon naman nila kinukuha yung
Kung hindi
campaign
nangyari ito, hindi natin malalaman yan eh. Hindi natin malalaman yung mga nepo babies. No? Di ba ngayon galit eh, mga kabataan. Nakikita nila na hirap sila sa tuition fee, hirap sila maghanap ng trabaho. Tapos ito yung mga privileged na nepo babies with hundreds of millions, no? May mga sarili ng eroplano.
Si Zaldi ko, mas marami sa Philippine Coast
pala
Guard
sa
Air
kanya.
Force.
Oo.
Mas marami sa Air Force.
Mas madami siyang...
Hindi, yung Finris na air assets niya, almost 5 billion. Eh.
Transition slightly to the ICC because, di ba, I was just talking to Attorney Christian Conte the other day and all. Ito na, at least it's clear na 7 na. May iba pang mga co-perpetrators na pwede dito. Di ba ginamit yung isa sa... hindi ko, Zaldi ko ba yung private jet na ginamit para kay Digong? My suggestion is, di ba marami silang huhulihin?
Parang hindi sa kanya.
San Miguel yun.
San Miguel yun.
Pero yung kay Zaldi ko, pwede mong gamitin taga-isa, dalhin mo sa ICC.
Pero in relation kasi sa pinag-uusapan natin na justices, no? Ano yung pwedeng gawin ng gobyerno legally to bring back Saldico here? No? Anong paano yun lang pinag-uusapan?
Cancel his passport as the
Interpol. Which
So kahit pumunta siya sa isang bansa like Portugal na wala tayong extradition treaty, pwede siyang hulihin.
Interpol.
Paano nasa Spain siya daw ngayon eh, or France eh. So,
Well, it's up to that country kung
Mag-cooperate sila.
i-honor nila yung Interpol red notice.
Red notice. Ang kasi blue notice kasi parang watch list lang yun eh sa mga airports.
Red dapat.
Ang Portugal kasi wala tayong extradition treaty. No.
Nasa kanila yan if they want to honor it.
Ikaw, Justice Ascuna.
Pero ang gagawin dapat sa kay Saldico, since andito lahat na assets niya, na hard assets, i-attach ka agad.
Okay.
So sigurado na hindi na siya makapagbenta.
You mean cordon off na cordon nila?
Tama yung kunin mo yung air assets niya. Tapos yung mga bahay, kotse, yung negosyo, yung bili sa yung mga resorts niya, dami niyang resorts hotels, madaming hotels yan I-attach na lahat.
So pwedeng gawin ng gobyerno yon nang hindi ganun kahirap.
Oo.
Na halimbawa, mag-MR doon sa mga sa kaso na yun, hindi pwede yun?
Hindi. As long as na-attach na yan, hindi niya mabenta. So,
hindi niya magalaw yung pera.
Parang frozen talaga.
Frozen. Yung sa bank
Hindi pa
account.
yun sequestered. Hindi pa yung
Hindi
kinukuha
pa,
ng
iba.
gobyerno.
Tsaka may batas unexplained wealth yung yung when your assets are yung visible assets are less than...
It's called preliminary confiscation. There's such a thing.
There is a law
Preliminary
Hindi
confiscation
ginagamit
of
Can be
assets.
used Yung forfeiture of or seizure of unexplained assets, may batas
Kung may mga bansa na ganyan pag yung properties mo, yung wealth mo ay lampas dun sa SALN mo, sinisequester
Di ba,
yun.
UK yun, di ba?
It's a law. Sa atin ba kailangan ng batas
Justice
para
as
gawin
well,
yun?
di
We
ba,
have
you
already a
mentioned-
law.
Yeah.
We already have a law.
Hindi lang ginagamit.
Hindi lang ginagamit.
So we can do that.
If there's an anomalous discrepancy, right, between the income and the
Yes.
SALN, there could be a preemptive legal
meron yan
intervention.
I have it here.
I think you were discussing the UK case before, di ba? Justice Ascuna.
Yes. It turns out that we have a law.
We also have that pala here, no? Yun nga Actually, ang dami nag-react. And then sabi ko, but sabi ni Justice, UK lang daw, hindi pa sa Philippines. But people are mentioning, di ba we also have that? So we clarified it. Na meron pala tayong ganun na preemptive freezing.
Ito.
Preliminary,
Republic Act 1379.
Yeah.
Right. Ayun pala
An
Anti-graft
act
law.
declaring forfeiture in
Yun pala
favor of the state.
Preliminary forfeiture.
Any property found to have been unlawfully acquired
Ayan tayo
by public officer or employee. Ito. This
Meron
Pero
pala.
nakalagay, Justice, found to be unlawfully acquired.
Yeah, but
Kailangan
the-
mo bang patunayan pa yun?
Yeah, but you can seize it, attach it.
While nagpo-process.
Yeah, yeah.
Oo.
Kaya
Yun ang
preliminary.
difference kasi
Yes, Justice.
dito sa atin, even with that presumption, we still have to prove that what we are attaching was unlawfully acquired. But in the UK, no more. The moment there's a discrepancy,
Automatically assume something
any
is
of
wrong.
the properties
Yun nga yung difference.
within that
Oo.
amount can be confiscated.
So very, very quick.
The
Yes.
threshold is much lower.
Yeah.
Yun nga. Ang taas ng threshold dito. Kaya,
Yes.
as we speak, di ba, Justice, may mga big law firms na kinukuha nilang mga senador daw. So, yun ang worry ng tao You bring in the big law firms, you appeal, you MR, you delay, you gain the
Justices,
system.
mukhang buhay na buhay yung mga law firms ngayon.
Oo nga. Sila lang buhay kasi lahat ng negosyo baksak na yan
Kinukuha sila ng mga contractors,
Yeah,
kinukuha
exactly,
sila ng mga
yeah.
kinasuhan dito, no? Alam ko yung mga law firms, hindi ko na babanggitin.
Hindi ko rin mabanggatin, pero minention sa akin yung ibang law. I mean, aren't these law firms, these judges from back in the day, I mean, I remember Chel Joke na back in the day said, parang yun yung deep state natin We never cleaned up, right? There were a lot of people from Marcos era, mga others na carry over, and they basically enable the system kasi they're always ready there to protect the questionable people. And kaya nga nawala.
We're not yet even touching the bottom dun sa mga banks
Yeah.
Paano, hindi ba liable itong mga bangko? Di ba merong mga batas dyan sa paglabas ng mga
500,000
monies,
plus.
no?
Yung land bank, tinawag na sila, di ba?
Yeah. Ni Kiko kahapon, inano talaga sila
Paano naman
binabasa.
lalabas sila ng hundreds of millions, hundreds of billions, tapos wala man lang
According to the branch manager, sabi niya, we followed all procedures. Siguro nagtawag sila, talagang this is for you authorize the release of this.
Yeah.
Pag andyan naman lahat, oo naman lahat. Meron din
They
sila.
follow the procedure. Yun nga, like it's the ecosystem, di ba? Justice, this is the other thing that we see. There's a whole ecosystem that enables for this impunity, basically.
Yes. What I noticed what the Senate investigation is doing is who did what. That's not the approach. It should be what went wrong. What went wrong the system. Look at the
Systemic
system.
yung problem,
What went
yeah.
wrong. So that you can remediate. Not who did this, who did that.
Witch hunt kasi pag ganun.
Hindi yun
Yung
Good point. Very good point.
we have
Justice.
to fight this kasi
Yes.
ang strategy nila to become to fall under the witness protection program
Right.
as an ordinary witness or a state witness. But the effect of that is they're released from criminal liability and not subject to forfeiture anymore. And that means ma-legitimize yung kanilang ninakaw.
Yes.
Exactly.
So we have to keep on sending this message. Wag i-accept unless nag-surrender.
Nagkakandara pa sila ngayon na sumama sa witness protection
everybody.
para maging state witness. Dahil
Yeah.
exactly yung sinasabi niyo, Justice, hindi lang sila hindi makukulong. Yung ninakaw nila ay
Ma-legitimize
hindi
pa, yeah.
kukulong.
Hindi
At
na,
saka yun ang sinasabi ni Marcoleta, hindi kailangan mag-surrender. that will be part of the judgment of the court. Hindi nga pwedeng,
Oo,
kasi
kaya nga-
nakalagay sa batas you cannot be subject to forfeiture. Kaya everybody wants to be a state witness.
Oo. Kaya nga binanatan siya ni Senator Ping Lacson. Bakit mo sila dinidepensahan? Sabi ni Senator
Di,
Ping
may
Lacson.
bagong term, Sir
Oo.
Ronald, Diskaya diehard
Hindi, ang
supporters.
problema, nag-announce
This
na
guy and I are-
nag-announce si Remulla na they will be given protection as witnesses.
Grabe.
I hope na hindi pa sila inaccept. Kasi formal yan. As an ordinary or state witness, magpipirma ka
Oo.
Baka-
Pero pwede kasi na kasama doon sa agreement, i-forfeit muna.
Yeah, dapat nasa agreement talaga yan.
Forfeit
Otherwise-
muna bago sila bigyan ng immunity.
Because if you don't do that, you cannot forfeit anymore.
Yeah.
Because the law says you cannot be subject to forfeiture.
At lalong sasabog ang outrage sa mga tao. Dahil sila yung alam ng tao na icons of corruption eh.
Yeah, kaya nga, let's say, si Diskaya, if they are now admitted as state witness, tapos hindi mo pinasauli, hindi mo na mahabol yung ninakaw nila.
Yun nga
Yes.
At pwede nila igalaw.
Yeah.
They can circulate the money, they can use the money.
Yeah,
they can...
that's why it has to be stopped We have to raise hell Na
Sabi-
wag i-accept.
Yes,
Hanggang
state
sinauli.
witness.
Yes. Sabi nga ni Montulpo, isang senador
May 1
tumanggap
billion
ng
daw.
150 million no, para protektahan itong contractor na ito at madala as state witness. Si Montulpo yun kinuquote ko lang siya. Ang alam ko kasi hindi
Di umano,
150.
di umano.
Ang alam ko kasi hindi
Bilyones.
150. Alam ko 250 eh.
Alam ko 1 billion.
At ang original na hiningi ay 1B.
Yeah, 1B yun. Yun,
Oh,
1B yung narinig ko. Yeah.
Yun yung original na hiningi. Nag-settle sa 250.
How is that decision made? Who becomes state witness? Is it a
DOJ yun eh.
DOJ yun, di ba? Exactly.
Recommendatory lang.
So ano yung sinasabi niya naman, disbars ng Remulla, yung tinitreaten ni...
Pumunta sa
Mark, what is your take on the Independent
I
Commission?
think they should first read Oedipus Rex. Oedipus Rex is admired. He's a king, admired for his integrity, and above all, for his burning desire to search for the truth, regardless of where it leads. In the case of Oedipus, he tried to himself. He was the one guilty, and he punished himself. That is the problem now of ICI. What if it leads to the king
Goes all the way, yeah.
in the search for truth? Will the king admit if the truth comes to him himself? Will he admit like Oedipus that he should blind himself and punish himself? That's the problem ICI faces.
Ang kaibahan sa Oedipus Rex, wala siyang vice president na Sarah. No, yun yung
Yeah,
kaibahan.
that's a big challenge.
Pag umabot sa kanya at mag-resign siya, si Sarah ang papalit. Yun yung kaibahan sa Oedipus Rex.
What about the Ombudsman aspect, Justice Carpio? We discussed that for quite some time. And mukhang na-clear na si Remulla so far.
Yeah, they have
Mukhang yun ang purpose ng acting ombudsman.
they have to appoint now because the ombudsman is critical here.
Yeah.
Because the impeachment is practically dead. But the ombudsman has a power to get the bank account records of every government official. Because when you file your SALN, nakalagay doon, I hereby authorize the ombudsman to verify my statement of assets and liabilities with the appropriate government agencies. One of those agencies is AMLA.
Right.
So, the ombudsman can ask the bank records of Vice President Sara. And then, lalabas yun, no? Of Duterte, the Duterte family. Because it's still there. The SALN of the President is still there. It can be verified. Wala pa namang the prescriptive period is not set in yet. So that's another
Important, yeah.
if the
Deus ex machina.
impeachment is now dead in the water because the Supreme Court has killed it, that's the other avenue.
For accountability.
Yes, for accountability. And that's the reason why Remulla is there.
And you, Justice Ascuna, how important...
And that's the
yeah.
reason also why Aimee and Polong have filed cases to stop him
To
from
stop
being,
him, yeah.
That's basically it. The battle there is for the bank records of VP Sara and the Duterte family.
So you're optimistic Remulla has a good chance? If hindi na, kung
Yeah, I
he
think he
ends
has
up
a
in the
good
final
chance.
three.
He has the best chance.
Oh, it's a very good chance.
According to our political
Two good
number
chance.
one political analyst in the country.
Wait! Tied at number one with another.
Yes,
Just kidding.
yes.
Ikaw, just ask ko na how important is the ombudsman, the incoming ombudsman? Kasi parang medyo behind schedule tayo. We're expecting to have the new ombudsman by now.
Well, the Ombudsman is a prosecutor, and he's the one charged with all this. He should be the one really pursuing the prosecution of all these who are guilty. But we don't even have an ombudsman. That's a problem because we are in the process of changing ombudsman. So the number one person who should be the center of the remedy to this whole mess is not there. So they should hurry up with the choice of the right person for the right job, and so that all these people can be prosecuted. Otherwise, it's all talk, and our people might forget this whole thing after, easily forget it.
Mukhang justice
Wala
next,
yung momentum.
mukhang next week lalabas na yung pangalan.
Yeah.
Alam naman natin kung sino.
Wala man lang surprise. It's
That's
not
the gospel truth. Pag galing kay...
Oy, surprise!
I'm
Surprise! Na-surprise kami.
But what if, yung conspiracy theory na, this is just a conspiracy theory, na magiging, if Sara for some reason becomes the next president, that important office could become a bargaining position. I mean, like, their conspiracy theory is like, di ba, ombudsman is there for the what? Next 7 years?
7 years,
Oh.
7 years. Pero he can be impeached.
Yun din.
yeah.
So what are the procedures to impeach and impeach? Let's say, Sara becomes the next president.
The same.
Kambangga niya yung mga Remulla.
Same process. Pero mahirap na dahil kay Marvic Leonin, pinahirapan na niya yung impeachment process.
Yun nga. Kaya lang mahirap na.
What is your basis for saying Sara is the next?
No, let's say, hypothetically, couldn't it be a kind of insurance policy, some would say? Like, binangga mo yung mga Dutertes, you want to be in some position of power.
Hypothetical, justice. Kung sakaling naging presidente kay Sara, anong gagawin niya sa ombudsman na hindi kanya?
Sabi natin, Remulla is ombudsman. So, andun siya until
But it's
2030.
important, when does she become president?
2028.
Well, by that time, Remulla would have finished already with his
Investigation,
etc.
etc.
Lalabas na yan. It's now public. The records will be public if, in fact, it's true that billions are there in those bank accounts.
Ibig sabihin ni Justice,
So that in 2028, in the elections,
exposed na si Sara.
exposed na si Sara.
Right.
You really don't need a.
You can
an
close the
impeachment.
show.
Yeah.
You can close the show before she takes over.
So I see that as very crucial.
Interesting
Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah.
So there's another liver here. I mean, if you're big
that's
him,
it. Yeah,
that's a
why
big
I'm saying,
liver. Yeah.
Because the Supreme Court has killed the impeachment. The Marcos faction has no alternative but to do this through the
Ombudsman, yeah.
and make it public. These are the bank records. Because of that authority of the ombudsman to verify the bank accounts of anyone, whether they jive with the SALN.
Yeah. That's the role of the acting ombudsman. John the Baptist siya.
Yeah.
Paving the way for someone greater than him.
That's why the OP is bent on clearing the DOJ secretary to qualify. And the Marcos group, the Duterte group, through Aimee and Pulong, are bent on stopping it.
But it's not working. It looks like it's not working.
Yung
anymore.
nagsampa ng kaso sa kanya sa ombudsman was
Aimee.
Before, no? Yung nagsampa, si Pulong.
The first to file was Aimee for kidnapping. For kidnapping.
Tapos Baste also later.
At tapos,
and then when the acting ombudsman cleared Remulla, Pulong filed again.
yes.
Pulong Duterte filed the same kidnapping case.
Yeah.
So this is really they just want to prevent
Yeah.
Remulla.
Because they
Remulla.
they knew
Because they know
The
what will
objective
happen.
of Remulla.
Everybody knows the objective.
yeah.
Basang-basa eh. Everybody knows. We
Yeah.
all know the objective. Because the Supreme Court stopped the impeachment,
Yung onus lumipas sa ombudsman.
yeah, the Marcos forces have to think of another way of destroying the credibility of Sarah.
Or weakening her politically at least.
To weaken her.
Like
her,
the ombudsman can open her bank accounts.
Yeah, well, the ombudsman can get it through the AMLA. Through the AMLA.
For example, using the SALN
Yeah,
as a
using the
basis.
SALN.
As the basis. Oo.
Because that's how, in the impeachment of Corona, that's how the ombudswoman at the time got it, through the AMLA. That's why she waived those papers.
At
They all came from AMLA.
At na-delay yung decision ng Supreme Court. Nauna yung AMLA.
Yeah, yeah. Although the Supreme Court said that it's protected. So, everybody knows the game plan.
Right.
And all of this back and forth filing, it's because the Supreme Court blocked the impeachment.
Yeah.
And so the Marcoses are using this process now to the Ombudsman. Because ang punot dulo dito, this is really a fight to the death between two dynasties, two political dynasties.
Existential.
Existential battle. Because Sarah said, puputulan ko ng ulo the moment she becomes president. No?
May hit list siya eh.
Pero
number ka,
justice,
Sir,
they have to hurry eh. Dahil
Yun nga eh, time
habang
element, yeah.
ginagawa ito, there are forces on the side ready to pounce.
Right.
No? Yun yung kaya kung hindi nila bibilisan ito, mauunahan sila.
The ground might give away. The ground below this fight might give away.
This way, this attempt at a coup
Yeah.
Right.
is preemptive, but it failed, no? It collapsed.
For now.
Actually, it's not a coup eh. Ano, a coup kasi is a section of the military ay attempting to seize power and eventually fighting another section of the military.
Yeah.
Mukhang ang plano is a
Just
withdrawal
withdrawal support, yeah.
Ayaw lang nila mangyari yung 89 coup na sila yung
Nag-split.
nagpatayan.
Split,
More than 300 soldiers yung namatay doon eh. Ayaw na nila yung trauma na yun.
Split, yeah.
Kung sakaling magkakaroon, ang gusto nila is a withdrawal of support.
Yeah, like the
ERAP.
Yeah, withdrawal of support.
Yun ngayon ang framework.
Kaya I was watching
in ERAP's time, in the withdrawal support, we made sure that it will be a constitutional succession. That's why Chief Justice Davide administered the oath of Gloria as permanent president, hindi vice.
Right.
Not hindi acting.
Correct.
Because if it's acting, the following day, ERAP can claim it back. And what will happen to the military? They already withdrew support. They will not allow it because if ERAP becomes president again, he will fire all of those who withdrew support. Support to him, no?
Tsaka nagpa-snap election siya, di ba? Si ERAP, pinapa-snap election niya, di ba? I was watching Ping Lacson's press conference in 2001,
Here, we have, but here, what they will do if they are able to withdraw support, that will not be constitutional.
Yeah.
Because
It's not.
it's not because Bongbong BBM is not resigning.
Yes. It's not.
So if they install Sara, it's because of their own power. It's not because of the Constitution.
That's why it's going to be
puppet nila yan.
That's why it's going to be a revolutionary government.
Yeah,
it's
will be a
outside of the Constitution.
Yeah, it will be a revolutionary
Suspended
government,
na
and they've chosen Sara to head it.
Right.
But at any time, they can take
Withdraw
over
it
from
because
Sara.
she's basically,
It is not a succession.
It is not succession.
It's an
Right.
imposition.
Yes. It is not
So
a
extra
constitutional
constitutional,
succession.
extra constitutional,
Which means that all the justices of the Supreme Court can be replaced because it's a new
Order,
it's
basically.
a new order. It's no longer the 1987 Constitution that is in place. It's a revolutionary government.
Yes, yeah.
They
Interregnum.
just chose the vice president to be the head.
Yeah. And since the Constitution has been suspended, anything can happen.
Yes.
Yun ang problema. Pwedeng
Yeah,
sections
yeah,
of the military
right.
na ayaw dito sa junta nito can fight them.
Open season.
And if you have a situation where the Constitution has been abolished or suspended, that provision in the Constitution now that says the President is the Commander-in-Chief, wala na yun. So who is now the Commander-in-Chief?
Commander-in-Chief.
Is the Chief of Staff.
Mm.
So
Si Bronner.
right now, the civilian government has control over the military,
Military, yeah.
because of
Coercive
that
arm of
phrase.
the state.
The president shall be the commander-in-chief.
Chief, yeah,
Kung
yeah.
mawala yung presidente,
If you abolish the constitution, that provision is no longer there. So who is now the commander-in-chief of the military? It's the chief of staff.
Yeah. The fact, yeah, the real. Yeah.
And that's why it's important to maintain a constitutional succession so that the civilian authority will be superior. But if if you disregard the Constitution, it's not a constitutional succession, the President is not the Commander-in-Chief. He is just the chosen figurehead of the military.
actually, in simple terms, a military junta or a revolutionary government is a dictatorship.
Yes.
Yeah. No checks and balance.
Yeah.
No,
In other words, if
no legal framework. No.
Yeah. In other words, if you do away with the Constitution, what is the governing law? It's just who has the
Who controls the junta?
Who controls the military?
Yeah.
The power comes out of the barrel of the gun.
Mao Zedong.
So that's it. It's basically there's no constitution. There's no provision. Commander-in-chief is the president. No more.
There's
It's the chief.
no civil liberties.
And
Theoretically.
and the entire Supreme Court can be changed. There's no legislature. The legislative power is in the junta. They will pass the law.
No more podcast for Haydarian.
No more podcast.
I will be live from the
Justice.
AFP. Yes, Justice Ascuna, you're saying.
No, but I have a decision. Alam ito ni...
Decision penned by...
Yeah, you wanna, yes, exactly.
That if the Constitution is totally abolished, our civil liberties are still there under under international law, the Declaration of Human Rights.
Okay, yeah.
So
That's
that
good.
has been stated already.
May backup pala
I wrote.
tayo.
Yeah.
So our civil liberties will remain.
The best decision ever of the Supreme Court.
Yun.
Yeah. So we have
Ligtas yung podcast ko.
no,
Di pa rin.
there is a fail-safe system.
Yeah.
But
Backup system, yeah.
as far as the individuals are concerned, we are protected. But as far as who will rule, it will be the military.
Yes. Which again, I emphasize, is a dictatorship.
Yeah, it's a
It will
dictatorship.
dictate.
Yeah, because they're not chosen by the people.
Yes,
no?
yes.
Some would say na tapos na sanang laban lahat nung last weekend kung hindi si Sara Duterte yung vice president.
Actually, everything happened in the span of a few months.
Right.
Halimbawa, kung nilaunch ng presidente yung anti-corruption last year,
Yeah.
no? Kung tinapos nila yung impeachment last year, no? Marami dito sa nangyayari ngayong gulo na iwasan. Paano, nag-launch ka ng anti-corruption movement nung na-expose na yung corruption. Not by you, no?
Yeah.
No, not by you. So, yun yung problema. Tapos, yung makikinabang dito sa gulo, yung Vice President, si Sara, ay makikinabang dahil hindi siya na-impeach. Pero kung na-impeach siya, baka hindi siya yung makinabang. So, iba yung magiging tono of the political landscape. So, in circumspect,
Yes.
In retrospect pala, in
Yeah.
retrospect.
Well,
Yeah.
I think when the president said, mahiya naman kayo in his zona, referring to the flood control projects, I think he did not realize
Saan
the
pupunta?
consequences of that.
Yeah. 2 steps ahead. He didn't see the 2 steps ahead.
He didn't realize that all the support system, all the political networks
May
supporting
collapse.
him may collapse because they're all into it.
Yung dalawang pumapalakpak sa likod niya, tanggal eh. Yung speaker at saka yung Senate President, si Justice.
There has been a shift in the crisis. With the impeachment of Sara, our crisis was one of accountability.
Right.
Now it has been transformed. into
Systemic
one of
legitimacy.
Governance.
Yeah. The whole legitimacy of the
whole
system.
thing.
Yeah. You're right.
Whole thing.
Tama,
It's now
tama.
crisis of
This is,
government.
nag-metastasize yung buong system na ngayon ang apektado eh.
Yeah, I think they're still not in the right track now. I mean, for example, the Senate, some people in the Senate and even in the executive might grant witness protection.
Yeah, that could be another trigger point
state
around
witness
yeah.
protection to the people involved in these flood control projects. So they will get away with it. They'll be laughing all the way to the bank
Yeah.
with their loot intact. Lalong magagalit ang tao.
That's a trigger.
That's a trigger, yeah.
Lalong magagalit ang tao when the people realize na ano pala, hindi pala, walang forfeiture pala ito.
Yeah.
They can keep the ill-gotten wealth. Magagalit ang tao. I think they have to be careful because that could be the trigger. That
So,
could be the trigger.
basically,
Yeah.
dapat sabihin, bagong patayin yung mga corrupt, kunin mo na yung pera nila. Kasi
Yeah.
yun ang problema kung pinatay mo, baka di mo makuha yung mga pera.
Yeah, because the lesson there, if they keep their money, there's no forfeiture.
Yeah.
In other words, it pays. It pays to enter into
And then hunker down, then
those
protect it.
projects
Yeah.
like this.
But I was mentioning kanina, I was asking also Justice Ascuna, I mean, should we call out the banks, the law firms, the courts, everything that is giving this sense of impunity? Because impunity is a systemic problem.
There should be a national summit to address this whole thing.
Yeah.
It should be called by the
Supreme
leaders
Court?
of
Yeah.
the three departments, by the President, the Senate President, and by the Chief Justice. And all sectors will be called upon, including the heads of the Constitution.
So parang kanyan, Justice, parang yung Truth Commission sa South Africa, sa Latin
Truth and
America,
Reconciliation.
na parang extrajudicial yung powers nila, no, na magpatawag. No, ganun yung nangyari noon no. To heal the wounds of apartheid, no, of dictatorships in Latin America. Nagtawag sila ng ganun.
That's right.
Now, medyo all-encompassing. Dahil corruption is all-encompassing.
systemic na siya, yeah.
Systemic siya.
Systemic. And an all-nation approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody has to be.
So who will be the locomotive of that? Because obviously the two camps we're talking about, they're there to save themselves or bring each other down. So that leaves us, right? Or, I mean, the civil society, basically. The neither Duterte nor Marcos side, right? Justice? I mean, someone has to hold the center, right? Because if the center gives away, the vultures are ready to take over.
Pero yun ang problema, Richard, eh.
Yeah.
You have a very weak political center,
Yun nga, yeah.
continuing to get weaker, especially the institutions around it. Tapos you have a very volatile situation,
Very volatile, yeah.
na may
exactly.
mga explosions around the center. Anything can happen. Yun ang problema, Justice. Wala kang fulcrum which can
yung
balance
pivot
all
niya,
these
yeah.
contradictions. Kaya lumalabas itong mga threats.
Yeah,
Hindi sila takot eh. Nobody's afraid.
Yeah,
Open
I
season.
was thinking that the Supreme Court could hold the center by
Exactly, yun nga, hold the center.
deciding the cases correctly and on time.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
then what do?
Yeah.
We'll try to do
Ito
this.
people's initiative.
People's initiative.
Yun nga, eh.
Yeah, that's really the last already. Because if we can't succeed, there's nothing else. We've exhausted all the remedies. The last really is the people's initiative.
And the purpose is not only to win. The purpose is to harness this outrage towards something constructive.
Yeah,
Oo,
the
diba?
purpose is
Oo.
to save the country from a military dictatorship, to save the country from collapse, no? To hold the center and to maintain the constitution.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing it through a people's initiative. But if that doesn't happen, if that fails, wala na eh. I don't see anything else. Eh.
What about destabilization from outside?
Well, that means
Because a messed up Philippines is good for some countries, right? Period.
In other words, it's outside the constitution already. I
It's
mean,
out of
if
order.
it's outside the constitution, anything goes. I mean, we cannot predict what will happen because you don't have a framework anymore.
Yun nga, yung framework.
Yeah,
eh.
we have
Even
to
if-
maintain the framework.
Ang maganda, may pinen kayo na batas.
Yeah,
Na,
but-
at least civil liberties
Safe wall, yeah.
should be there.
Yeah.
Kung itong junta na ito,
Yeah.
ilalabagin yon, kalaban nila international.
Yeah. At least that preserves our personal freedoms, personal rights. But in terms of economic development, in terms of governance, wala yun.
Yeah. I just remembered, bago ako umalis, may isa ko siyang show. Naalala ko lang na si Justice Ascuna at si Justice Carpio were there nung dinesisyonan yung state of emergency ni Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo, na na-arrest
2007.
kami ni Randy David. We were there during the hearing. Ando kayo sa harapan namin. Si Raul Pangalagan, yung aming abogado. No? Na eventually, sinabi nyo na hindi constitutional yung state of emergency because it didn't satisfy the 3 conditions for a state of emergency. No? Naging landmarkation sabi ni Justice Panganiban Siya yung Chief Justice noon di ba? Invasion, state of lawlessness, insurrection. So, that became a landmark case. Sa mga bar exams ngayon, tinatanong yun.
Nasa jurisprudence na kayo.
David Llamas et al.
On that note, let's take a break shortly lang, Justice. Let's continue part of this later on with the 2 justices.